Mostly
I mean,
Rockets.
we're being honest about it.
Well, mostly Rockets doing bad things to Cat.
James Harden to Daniel House on Tristan Thompson, and 1. Whew. Here comes the beard. Step back, yep.
Again,
Check
just
that
like
out.
we just talked about with Luka, it's a step back 3, and he's just big enough to shoot over the top of the contest.
With that one, he passed Kobe Bryant for 14th on the all-time made threes list. More of that coming. Harden.
And a drop off. I think the one thing about Harden's game, too, that's really deceptive, Griff, people don't realize how big a man James Harden is.
Yeah.
You know, he's not 6'8", but he's 6'6", and all of that 230 pounds with a great frame and a sweet handle. So he gets wherever he wants to go, whether you're a bigger or smaller opponent, he can take advantage of it.
He's still climbing the three-point charts in this highlight, in fact. He just passed Chauncey Billups as well as Kobe Bryant, so put him at 13th on the all-time list, and he's not done.
And in both of those last 2 threes he hit, Jetty Osman's who he puts on roller skates, and Jetty stays right there.
Yeah.
6'7" defender with a hand up, and James doesn't even notice him.
Well, and you're so afraid to reach as well because you know what happens. We'll get into that a little bit more here in a moment. Harden just abusing the Cavaliers, who have now lost 12 in a row. Houston has won 13 of 16 as Harden goes for 43, 10 boards, 12 assists. He is the first player with a 40-point triple-double since James Harden, in fact.
Sort of a category he's making his own.
More of the same for Harden.
Just, the step back threes, he's perfected that. He's got 16 threes and they're step backs. And I don't know how he does it. I mean, he's in a space about that big. Everybody knows what he's doing, and he still gets them off. And they're kind of open. They're not like they're forced. So, just an incredible player.
Did you tell him he had till the end of the third quarter to get the triple-double?
I did not say that, but I said you got to the end of the third quarter to do whatever you're going to do. You're not playing any more than that. So I did not. And I thought, you know what a great thing was if you saw it, his 10th rebound, P.J. blocked off the guy, and James got it. P.J. could have gone after it.
He ducked out of the way.
I thought it was a very good teammate.
Oh, they know. Everybody knows. So that's 15 straight games now with at least 30 points for James Harden, the second longest streak since the NBA-ABA merger. Kobe Bryant has a 16-point streak on his record. Harden and Houston will play at Memphis on Sunday. We have this MVP conversation. We're talking about the current MVP, but a lot of it to me is always about the player's responsibility with his team. And there is nobody with more on his shoulders in terms of winning or losing than that guy.
Outside of LeBron James, I don't think there's any single player with more. And I think the unbelievable part of what James Harden does is he gets so much credit, and rightfully so, for being an offensive machine and being able to score at will. It's the opportunities he creates for other guys. And you don't see him on the highlights, Griff, but when you have that much attention and focus on one guy, there's bound to be somebody else open and with an opportunity to finish a play. You see Clint Capella doing it all the time, but also P.J. Tucker, corner threes, Eric Gordon when he's out there. Doing it without Chris Paul, of course, makes it even more jaw-dropping to see James Harden go out there when you know the focus is on you. But you really can't guard him with one defender. And I see teams do this all the time, and I'm thinking, surely you would give up something to try and slow him down, and they don't. They assume that this one guy is going to be able to handle him, and that's not happening.
No, hasn't been happening.
And the point you made in terms of his ability to find other people, because he's so good at getting rid of the ball, if you trap him and you try to force the ball out of his hands, he's going to make the right pass and the right read. And they're actually benefiting from the fact that Chris Paul isn't playing right now, and he can be so incredibly efficient during this period of time. And we can see that here in the video as well. James is getting the opportunity in the absence of Chris Paul to be the most ball dominant he's ever been. And he's truly efficient at this level of ball dominance. Most players aren't. He can mix it up. He shoots the three. He can take it to the basket when you play too much up on him. Again, that cross-court pass, we talked about it relative to Luka Doncic's size to make that cross-court pass. James makes that off the dribble with either hand. And here again, his size and length This is actually a pretty well contested three by most people's standards, but you saw how riveted Mike D'Antoni was by the space that James Harden creates for himself. It's become a ho-hum thing. He is so good at that particular shot that what he's done is he's also made it very complicated to officiate him.
Absolutely.
Because he's really, really adept at getting to the foul line. So now defenders don't want to put a hand in.
Yeah.
And officials are trying to identify whether or not it's a two-step rhythm, like Monty McCutcheon will tell you they're looking for, or was it a travel?
Right.
He's completely changed the paradigm in the NBA. We see it here. The one on the left is called a travel. The one on the right is not. Can we run that back again? The one on the left is a travel, and the one on the right is not. And what's fascinating between those, here it is again. Watch it, and if we could do it slower even, it'd be great. So this is called a two-step rhythm. And what James Harden does that makes his play legal, according to Monty McCutcheon, who runs the officials for the NBA, is it is a two-step rhythm. And as James is picking the ball up off the dribble, he still has a live dribble. He's making his step back. Steph terminated his dribble before he made the first step back. So his was a travel and James is not.
It's essentially the gather step that we always hear.
It is, but it's the execution of this that James has perfected, and Mike D'Antoni talked about it. If you're still in the act of your dribble when you step back, that is not a gather step. It's all part of a two-step rhythm that the officials are now taught to look for. If you are gathering it, you cup it, and then you take your first step back, that will be the first of a two-step rhythm. So James got two steps because, in theory, he was still dribbling on one of those steps.
I got a proposal for Monty McCutcheon and everybody else. Let's have a step-back three-point shooting contest in Charlotte during All-Star Weekend.
I like that.
I'm going with James Harden.
Yeah, why would we have a contest we know the winner of?
Well, I mean, Luka might have something.
You could have a Doncic Harden shoot-off. That'd be pretty good.
I'd take both those guys in that contest.
By the way, Harden's 40-point triple-double was through three quarters. He's the first to do that since James Harden at the end of 2016.
Mike D'Antoni also riveted by that as well.
Throw his name into a lot of those triple-double stats. Coming up 2 nights after a 2-overtime classic, the Thunder and Spurs do it again right here. We'll talk about it.
Since the 1970-71 season, when box scores started counting starters in games, Del Curry is the leader in bench points at 11,147. Right behind him are a pair of active players, Jamal Crawford and last year's sixth-man award winner Lou Williams. He has 571 points behind Steph's dad. And in the latest edition of On Point, Isaiah Thomas breaks down how Lou Williams' game compares to one of his former Pistons teammates.
Today on Isaiah On Point, we're talking dynamic sixth men, past and present. Let's take a look at the game of my former teammate, Vinny the Microwave Johnson, and professional scorer Lou Williams. Both are great at creating their own offense. Both players with all-star type ability. Both accepted their roles off the bench. Williams has won 2 Sixth Man of the Year awards and currently leads all bench scorers this season. Johnson and Williams are not natural point guards as we would call them in today's game, but they're great combo guards. They can create off the dribble, they make passes and assists for their teammates. Like the old saying goes, it's not how you start, but how you finish.
Johnson, microwave, they call him because he heats up so fast.
So when you talk about closing games, when you talk about a Vinny Johnson or a Lou Williams, what they would do at the end of the game and the type of havoc they would create at the end of the game. Again, a closer is someone that can get their own shot off the dribble, they can make a pass and assist, and if they get fouled, they can go to the foul line and knock down the free throw. Those are the type of players that you want to give the ball to at the end of the game. Lou Williams is top 5 in fourth quarter scoring this season. And Vinny Johnson, the microwave, my teammate, was great at finishing games. Portland Trailblazer fans may not like that, but we in Detroit, We love Vinnie Johnson.
Phenomenal stuff there. You got to love Isaiah Thomas, man, and the microwave. And here are the leaders in fourth quarter scoring this season. LeBron and Kemba tied at 8.3 per. Up next, it is Lou at 7.5. Is Lou Williams going to win sixth man award in back-to-back years, or could Derrick Rose get up there and take it from him? Dinwiddie is in the running as well. And so what's your take on that? Who's your sixth man of the year right now? Would you give it to Lou in back-to-back years?
I would as of right now, presently. And I love what Derrick Rose is doing. And Derrick Rose has missed some games. It's between those two. And Spencer Dinwiddie, he's been starting, coming off the bench. But just to talk about Lou Williams, he's been in this conversation of sixth man of the year. It seems like B-Wood every year. I just love what he's doing. He's going to shatter that all-time scoring record of Dell Curry. He understands his spot on the court. And what I love about him is the fourth quarter points for the Los Angeles Clippers. He doesn't start games, but he's the reason why they win some games. When you're talking about third, all the other guys were starters. He was the guy coming off the bench.
You know what? I'm gonna go with D Rose. Maybe it's just my sentimental pick because he's a comeback.
And I'm not mad
because
at you.
he's a comeback favorite. I don't know, but when I look at what he means to this Minnesota team, coming off the bench, the energy he gives them, 19 points per game, like 48% from the field, 46% from three. And that's something crazy I never thought I would see from D Rose. So I'm gonna go with D Rose. There really is no loser. You can go either way. I'm going to go with D Rose in that situation for Minnesota, and that's more of a heart pick than anything else.
One of the most surprising stats of the season, you just said it, Derrick Rose at 46% on threes. And we think about, some of the bricks that were going on, and obviously a tremendous player, but a lot of, 31, 33, and now to be 46, it's spellbinding is what it is. So let's continue the debate that we just saw the open court. Matt Weiner and Reggie Miller and Kenny Smith and Dennis Scott. Okay, Smitty, here you go. You need a three for the win. You're the head coach. What play you? Not what play you're drawing up.
What type of three we talking about?
Catch and shoot.
That's totally different. I mean, catch and shoot. I mean, that's the one thing about drawing up a play for a guy to catch and shoot. If he doesn't have the catch and shoot, can he still get me a three? So the guy I'm going to go overall, any kind of three if I need it, on the line is Kevin Durant because of his ability, one, and also his size, and we've seen him knock down clutch. Catch and shoot, I'm going Reggie Miller.
For me, I'm going to agree with Smitty, and especially when you say overall three, you have to talk about KD. Once again, I've lived it, I've seen it. He's pulled up against my Mavericks and hit a game-winning three in a regular season game that was very tough. But more importantly, when you think back to the last two NBA Finals, you think about Kevin Durant, the two biggest shots he hit were three-pointers, and who did he hit them over? LeBron James. So that is a different type of guy. He is 6'10", 6'11", and no matter who you put on him, LeBron James, arguably the GOAT, a great defensive player, on KD in the clutch, couldn't do anything with him. That's the type of guy I want shooting my last three. That's why I would go Kevin Durant, all-time clutch three-point shooter. Got to go KD because of his height, it's easy for him to get the shot off, and we've seen him do it in the highest of moments. And he shot those two in Cleveland. He shot them from the parking lot.
Do you guys agree with me that Stephen Curry is the best shooter of all time?
Totally
Yes,
agree.
no question.
Totally agree.
So in the open court short, I didn't really hear Steph Curry's name. Maybe not at all. You guys, and we've been talking about this off the air too. Now we brought it to the air, and I still haven't heard Steph Curry's name. Why not?
Well, for me, you're talking about getting threes from any angle, and it's not the fact that I don't think that Steph Curry deserves to be in the conversation. You said who do I think was the best. The best at it would be KD because he can do it from all angles, and he can get his shots off on anybody. Sticking with the NBA Finals, thinking back to a couple years ago, I saw Steph struggling to get his three off against Kevin Love in the clutch moment in the NBA Finals. And I know that's just one moment, but sometimes his size can work against him in those type of situations where KD, being a 6'11" two-guard means he can get a three off on anybody with just a slight fade. He was getting his threes off on 6'8" LeBron James.
And you shorten him an inch. I still say a 7-footer. You don't want to say he's taller than
He's
you. That's
not,
okay.
He's not taller than
That's
me.
all right. He's a 7-footer.
So he's 6'10", 6'11".
But what you see, both of us said no doubt about it. He's the best three-point shooter of all time. You said for a winning three, we're talking about a guy at 7 feet. Well, hey, you have no problem letting Steph or Clay and some other guys. I think a guy for me that I play with that doesn't get a lot of mention, Glenn Rice at 6'8", could get it off anytime he wanted and get a correct shot. There's no fading. He still went straight up and down. Reggie's my catch and shoot. Kevin Durant all time, but Glenn Rice, don't forget about him.
Got some great stories about Glenn Rice from back in the day,
Yeah.
playing against him, and maybe
Unbelievable. That's
maybe
my
they're
guy.
great stories for you being on the other side.
No, not at all. When we were in Michigan State, and then obviously when we got a chance to play together, it was great. Then our Atlanta, Charlotte battles, Lakers battle. That's my guy, though, G. Rice. Even though he went to Michigan. Even though.
That's a lot of love there from a Sparty to a Wolverine. Hey, we have a Ben Simmons play right here to show you the Hawks are at the 76ers. Look at this. Late first quarter, the Hawks with a 3-point lead, and it's Ben Simmons, and then I heard a tweet, get him to the line, and 3-point game right now, early second quarter. Good stuff. This is Game Time Live, presented by State Farm.